Hello guys. From today we are going to start a series on the Benko Gambit, and the Benko Gambit is not like other gambits where you just sacrifice a pawn and uh, go for straight out attack. So Benko Gambit is more of a positional sacrifice where black will sacrifice a pawn to get open files for attack, and that is used as a long-term positional advantage. And this gambit has been played by many strong players. You can say top players also, like Anand, Kasparov, Tal, and Ivanchuk, etc. Many more are there. So what we are going to do, we are going to divide this series on basis of different variations of the Benko Gambit. First, we will be looking at Benko Gambit accepted, where the white player is actually going to accept the Benko Gambit, and after we cover those videos, we are going to see if what if the white player declines the Benko Gambit. And so this opening I have also started studying because you can say it's a very nice attacking option, a counter attacking option. So usually white, if you don't want ki white should attack and black should attack, basically, especially this opening, you can say it's very useful, especially in blitz and even in rapid, where uh, it's always easier to attack than to defend. For to defend, you need to find the perfect move to defend, but if the position is open and your pieces are pretty active, attacking is very easy compared to defending. One wrong move in defending can blow up the position. So what we are going to do, we are going to start with the Fianchetto variation in the Benko Gambit accepted, where the white player accepts the gambit and he will Fianchetto his light square bishop on g2, and that variation is the Fianchetto variation. Basically, there are many in-depth lights. So what we'll do is we will first start with a normal game, and we'll try to cover like 3-4 games per variation, so you can get basic ideas ki what actually happens. And there are very specific and very straightforward ideas in the Benko Gambit, a basic setup you should know. So this first game we are going to start. So this first game which I'll be showing you. So this game was basically played between Burmakin and Kasparov. And this is not Gary Kasparov, this is Sergei Kasparov in 2003. Okay, so let's look at the game. So game starts with d4, of course, and knight to f6. We have knight to f3, we have c5 and d5. So this is Benoni defense basically, and Benko Gambits you can say is a variation of the Benoni defense. So here you go d6 and white plays c4, and now the move b5. So this is known as the Benko Gambit basically, and here the white player has a choice to accept it or not. So in the first game which we see, white decided to accept the gambit. So a6. A6 is the main move here. The idea behind the a6 move is that you allow white to take the a6 pawn basically, and you capture that pawn with your bishop, so that your bishop will assume this very nice diagonal. So let me just show. If you just take this pawn, so white player actually took it, and here we have bishop takes a6. So now your bishop is on a very nice diagonal, and now the problem with a move like e4, white can't play e4 here. This e4 break, why white can't play? Because you will be unable to castle. You will just if this happens, then you can just take this, and then the king takes. It's okay for white, but the bigger problem is you are blundering a pawn here also, but not yeah, you're building and the evaluation will go down as usual. So this is not an option right now. So in the game, uh, the white player starts developing. He plays knight to c3, and we have g6. So the standard idea in the Benko is that we'll Fianchetto this dark square bishop on g7, which will have very strong piece. So as you can see, these two files, the B file and the A file, has been opened up. Okay, so now we what we want to do is we want to put our both of our rooks and even double the rooks and put the queen also on this open file, and our bishop at g7, which will be later fianchettoed, will be eyeing to this side, and we'll try to counter attack these pawns and eventually try to gain a better position. So the white player starts with g3. We have bishop to g7, bishop to g3, and here a very beautiful move. This is basically a basic concept in the Benko. You can castle here also, but there's a move knight to d7, basically knight f to d7. So the idea behind this move is that you are delaying your castling, but instead what you are trying to get is you are trying to open your bishop immediately. So basically the white player doesn't have time to play something like let's suppose b3 and fianchetto his bishop, because you can just take the bishop and it will be game over, right? So this we are just delaying uh, our development so that black's queen side still remains, is not able to push this breakthrough, basically. So that is a very basic idea behind immediately returning this knight to d7. So the game continued with castles, and here we have knight to b6. And the next big thing in the Benko is that this c4 square which is there, this is a very important square in the Benko. So what we want to do, we want to control it as much as possible. So you can see our bishop on a6 is already controlling this square, and now our knight is also controlling the square. So we want to build pressure over this c4 square. So here queen to c2. Now what white wants to do is he wants to play something like b2 to b3 and put the rook on b1 and eventually say ki, okay, you just lost a pawn and I am not going to give it back. So this is a very basic thing in Benko, how a white player should defend, basically. So here we simply develop, the black player that just develops knight 8 to d7, and here we have rook to d1, defending the d5 pawn, and here now finally the black player has castled. So here e4. Now this e4 move now means what white player is trying to do over here is control the center, basically, and not only center, he has much more space. Okay, but even if he has space, now our pieces are very well positioned and they have lot of activity. So you can see this square on e5 is very juicy. So the black player in this position, not knight to e4 was played, here knight to c4 was played, basically. So now as I said ki the c4 square is we have to take control of the, even knight to e4 was also possible, but yeah, the black player played knight to c4, and here knight, because this is a very strong knight, and you can, so he's trying to just exchange, the white player is trying to just exchange this knight to this knight. So he takes bishop takes, and now comes knight to e5, and now you can see our knight is a very beautiful piece in the center of the board and controlling so many squares. And here he drops back with the bishop to e1. Now queen to b6. Now you can see the eventual idea of the Benko of all of our pieces are eventually going to come on these two open files. The bishop is already eyeing this b2 pawn, the queen is also now eyeing this b2 pawn, and eventually we will want to put both of the rooks over here. Now here he played rook a to b1, over defending this pawn, expecting that if this knight on e5 moves, now there will be lot of pressure on this pawn. Now one more specific idea in the Benko Gambit is that you play c4 here. Basically this is what was played. This is a very cool idea, and you want to put this knight on d3. This e5 knight you want to put on d3, and this knight won't be easily kicked away. So here he played b4. So we captured ampersand, c takes on b3, and queen takes on b3, and here queen to a7. Black player has decided that he doesn't want to exchange queens right now, and here we have a4, and now bishop to c4, attacking the queen. So queen gets back. Again you can see that this even though you can say that black is right now white is right now up a pawn, but you can see the activity of our pieces are far more than activity of white's pieces. You can see all of our pieces are properly positioned and controlling a lot of squares. Here we have rook f to c8, and here we have rook to b4, and here the black player played rook a to b8 and trying to exchange this rook basically, and he doubles upon the b file, and now rook takes, and here queen to c5, attacking the rook, and knight has come to b5, and we have rook to b8. So here you can see he's trying to somehow defend this pawn over here, which is on a4, and black is trying to win it. That is what is going on. But even if you see the white pieces are all stuck defending, and especially the bishop, which is here the white bishop which is on g2, is not doing that much right now. It is just staring at this pawn for now basically. So now here basically I think there is one tactical shot here which actually the black player missed. The tactical shot is basically here once again here the black player actually played knight to d3, but even one more thing you can play is just bishop takes, because of what happens if you if he takes this queen, then just this d takes, and rook has to move somewhere basically, let's suppose over here, then and you have already regained a pawn basically. So this is a very cool tactic which the black player missed actually. It should have been played. Means it was a classical game, but yeah. So this tactic basically was missed. So instead of this just bishop takes on d4, what he played was he played knight to d3, and rook goes back to b1. Here he eliminates this bishop, because this knight is a pretty good piece, but this what he wanted was, now since he has eliminated this dark square bishop, now this our own bishop on g7 is almost unopposed. This is a very very powerful bishop here. As you can see, nobody can oppose it. And this bishop on g2, if you see, still it is just staring at this pawn. So rook takes, and here we have just bishop takes, and queen takes, rook takes, pawn takes, and rook takes. So here you can see the game just liquidated out basically. It's not I wanted to show a game where Benko Gambit player has won, but I just wanted to show you one game where how you can simply equalize. So here the move played was just bishop to f3. As you can see, this simply opposite color bishop game completed draw, and in this position the player just agreed to a draw. But the idea, if you had seen all the moves, so I'll just do a quick recap basically. So if you see in this position, I'll just mention the key points. Basically, the key point is bringing this knight back whenever white goes for this Fianchetto variation. So you just remember this move, bring this knight back, open up this bishop immediately, because we don't want to allow white immediately to play b2 to b3 and Fianchetto his own bishop. Then he can exchange that bishop for our very strong bishop on g7. So this is a very key move. And after that, as you can see, the next point which you can see is this c4 square. This c4 square is very, very important. As you can see, the knight came here and the knight eventually went to c4. So this, and another key idea is, since now everything white is defending, basically almost he's trying to over defend this pawn. At the right time, basically you should play c4 and try to put your knight on e5 on this beautiful d3 square. Basically this is another, if it doesn't play this, if it plays some weird move, the knight will come here and will be like a monster piece. Maybe he'll have to give up the exchange or something, but yeah, means it will be a very, very strong piece over here. And after that, you can see just a simple, and there are a lot of tricks also, like here in this position, as I told ki in this position, let me come over here, in this position the black player played knight to d3, but here was a very cool tactic. You can just win the pawn back, bishop takes d3, queen takes, and pawn takes, and you can just start pushing this pawn basically, and this is a very strong pawn. Yeah, so that's pretty much for the first video of the Benko Gambit. So we'll be covering around 3-4 games, just to get to know and get the feel of the Benko, ki how plans work in the Benko Gambit. Basically in the same Fianchetto variation, we'll be covering 3-4 videos. So see you soon.